For the record, please state your name and section.
I'll stand, sir. I'll answer.
Stand.
Good afternoon. I'm GKM Mahika from Forage.
Hindi Mahika for please pick your okay. For the camera, please state your question out loud.
Honestly, should we increase all income taxes so that we can provide free healthcare services to all the country's citizens?
Correct. Your timer starts now.
30 seconds.
Start.
Should we will not read it, sir. For me, no. We should not increase in all income taxes to provide free healthcare services to the country's citizens. Because as what we have now in our news, we all know about PDAF. PDAF is where we all gonna give our money. So as we have heard the pork barrel, it is from the taxes that we gave to the politicians. So if the politicians are doing their work and they didn't store money that is not theirs, we should have enough money to give free healthcare services to the country. And with the money that they stole, if it is not just stolen by them from our own taxes, we should have better country now, and our country will not be one of the poorest country in the.
I know it's a long-winded assumption, pero assuming that all of our politicians and the whole government of the Philippines was honest, would your answer be yes or no? Assuming that the government is honest, assuming that all parts of the government is honest, would your answer be yes or no? Because?
I will stand for what I chose.
Okay, sige. You're saying no. No, because you're afraid that the senators are going to steal it. Question, do they steal everything?
No.
No, they don't, di ba? Kasi we still have enough money. We still have enough money for all other projects. We still have enough money for all other government activities. So if they don't steal they don't steal all of the money anyway, therefore there might still be enough money for healthcare services.
But it is not really that enough, sir, to accommodate all the people in the Philippines. Because not all has that enough money supply. So I wanted to base it to what happened to Tacloban. As what we can see, there are many things that the abroad had given to us. But why is it that until now, there is not yet enough industry? There is still some people who doesn't have houses, not enough money. And some, as I have read in the news that, I have seen in the news that there are some schools, science schools that is not yet well built. So some students in that school were transferred to Manila. So that is why even to the victims of that calamity, they didn't give enough money. How much more to those people who are sick, who needs more medicine?
The point is, you said no because we don't have enough money. But the question was, should we increase taxes so we can afford it? So if you say yes, we increase taxes, then yes, we can afford the healthcare. Oh no, why shouldn't we increase taxes?
We should not increase taxes because we have given enough taxes. It's not our job to increase it more. It's the job of the politicians to handle or budget the money well.
Oh yeah, that's the point. If we say yes to that, then the politicians will increase the money. If they increase the money, then we can have our free healthcare services.
Free? As what I've noticed, sir, I think before Marcos time, there's enough money. Even to the time nga, they don't scarce actually. So, if they would increase the taxes now, not all people can actually avail it because not all have that job. Not all has the enough income for a month to add it more to the taxes.
Okay, sige. I think that would be enough. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sige, for the record, please state your name and section.
Hi, my name is Leomar Lalo, and I'm from 4H.
Sorry, ni-add mo lang mo to. Can you say that again?
Hi, my name is Leomar Lalo, and I am from 4H.
Alright, please make your question. Alright, please state your question in front of the camera.
Should we continue to participate in the Olympic Games even if we are constantly losing?
Your timer starts.
My house believes that we should continue. My house believes that we should continue to participate in the Olympic Games even if we are constantly losing. Because it doesn't matter if we're losing. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we're trying. How would we know that we could win if we didn't try? If we did not try. If we didn't persevere. That we should continue playing even if we're losing. We should never give up. That's what a true player should have. Never give up. We should continue to participate in the Olympic Games even if we're losing, because a true player and a true gamer never gives up. That's what everybody should have. And
Alright, never give up. We should continue persevering. Question. Is it cheap to send one person to the Olympics?
pardon?
Is it cheap to send one person to the Olympics?
Is it cheap to send one person?
Money. Is it cheap? How much do you think it costs to send one person to the Olympics?
Maybe it could be expensive, but it could be worth it because it's worth it to try. Maybe he or she would win it, so it's worth it. How would we know if we did not? How would we know if we? How would we know if we would win? If we would lose? If we would not try? If we would not bet?
Sige, somebody you are spending. We're not only talking about one person here. That's a whole team. We're sending one team to the Olympics. That's very expensive. And then you tell school kids, where is my classroom? Sorry, you don't have a classroom because we spent it sending a team to the Olympics who are going to try to win. How will you respond to that?
That's maybe it's worth a shot because money isn't worth it. It's the money is worth it. Maybe it's worth a shot because whatever happens, at least you tried. At least everybody would know that our team that we send in the Olympic game is persevere to win, is trying to win, is that.
Yeah, I understand the point, my dear. You are trying to think about the country's future. We should be persevering to win. It's for the better of the country. Pero, isn't the money better put for use? What about those kids? What about the people in Yolanda? How do you justify to them? Just we should persevere. Shouldn't they be given help too?
That's where the inspiration comes from. We get inspired to help. We go to Olympic Games to win, to get the money, and to help those who need it. That's where inspiration comes, and that's where persevere. That's what helps us reach our goals. That's what helps it.
Sige, I think I heard them. Thank you. support him. Door. Sorry. Alright, for the camera, please state your name and section.
Good afternoon. I'm Gian Arroyo, 4J.
Arroyo. Arroyo as in, like...
Yes. We're really representing.
Sige. Please take your question. For the camera, please read your question out loud.
Should we place a limit on how much money a person can legally owe?
Your timer starts.
No.
Thinking time.
30 seconds.
Oh, yeah,
No. It is because one cannot measure the hard work. I mean, it's not about limiting someone's money quantity is sick. I mean, if you work every day, you're 9 to 6, and you're only allowed 500 pesos. How does that make justice? How does that give credit to your hard work? And we're not kids anymore. And yeah, we're not kids. Plus, we're not a communist country.
Alright. Do you seriously think that all money comes from hard work?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
Like no money is inherited from the hard work of parents, no land is inherited from the hard work of grandparents and generations from before that. You seriously think that all money comes from hard work?
Yes.
What about all of the people? Paris Hilton, for example, very rich, didn't do a day of work ever. Can you justify that?
It's the hard work of their parents.
It's the hard work of their parents. But do you seriously believe that hard work, the blessings of their hard work is also deserved by their children?
And I think it's inheritable.
It's hard work is inheritable.
Yeah.
Oh, pero can you like legally justify a person working very hard, not moving forward in life, versus somebody who has not worked a day in their life and really inherited things from their parents? What about the person who gets money by chance? Lotto. Is that justifiable?
That's hard work by luck.
Sorry, what? Hard work by luck? Okay, sige. Shading numbers seems to be lucky nowadays. What about people who get rich through corruption? Hard work through corruption. Hard work through other people's hard work. Will you not place a limit on that?
That's hard work hiding their crimes.
That is sick. How do you seriously think na it's okay despite not working, despite working for other people's money, despite corruption, despite luck, it's okay to have no limits in owning money? Because my last question would be because
we deserve it.
okay, sige, thank you very much.
Sir.
Backward lang naman yun so that the camera
Sir,
is
sige, sige.
What?
Yeah.
Sige.
Just look down your space.
Alright. For the camera, please state your name and section.
Nickname lang, sir.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm Vince Cuevas from 4G.
I'm sorry. Alright, please take a question. Alright, for the camera, please read your question out loud.
Should we remove the exemption of all religious organizations from paying taxes?
Louder, please. Maybe the camera will hear you.
Should we remove the exemption of all religious organizations from paying taxes?
Your time is starts.
Sir, my answer is no. Because no one is exempted from the law, regardless of what their race is or what their religion is. So we should not exempt all the religions from paying taxes to the government, because the government needs the money to help the country prosper more and help and provide services for those who need. Because there is no law in our constitution that says everyone or anyone is exempted from paying taxes regardless of their religion.
O sige, sige, for the record, actually, some religious organizations are exempt from paying taxes. Pero let's work with what we have. We do not allow them to pay taxes because the government needs it to provide services for the people. But religious organizations already do provide services for the people. They tend to the sick, they tend to the moral compasses of their followers. So why should we have them pay taxes if they already do some of the services to the people?
Sir, the more the merrier, but sir, because if religious organizations also pay taxes, the more money the government will be able to have to provide services for the people. Thus, if the religious organizations lack money, they can easily ask the government for help, and the government will gladly help the religious organizations when helping the poor. That's why they should not be exempted from paying taxes, because it's also kind of unfair. While those are like atheists who don't have their own religion, but they still pay taxes, and
But actually, it's also kind of, if you think about it, it's also kind of unfair because the Constitution primarily states that religion is different from the government. It specifically states there that we look at them differently. It's actually in Article 1, kanang basic, I forgot, basic ideas of the Constitution. Government is separate from the church. There should be a separation between church and government.
so still, so they shouldn't be exempted from paying taxes. Why? They live in a country, not a country of democracy, constitution. But if you make the government like a theological type of government, then maybe that specific religion will be exempted from paying taxes. But here in the Philippines, we are not a theological government, we are a democratic government. So no one is above the law, regardless of your religion.
Okay, I've heard enough. Thank you. Sige, for the record, please state your name and section.
Good afternoon, my name is Felber Angelo. I'm Speda from 9C.
Sorry, what?
9C.
Alright. Please make your question. For the camera, please read your question out loud.
Should prostitution be legalized?
Your timer starts. Go.
I, for one, disagree that prostitution should be legalized. Number one, it's wrong. Prostitution is wrong. It does not help anyone. It is a source of pleasure for men who do not like their own wives. That's wrong. Why would you even get married? Number two, girls sell themselves short. They have the potential to become businesswomen, top chefs, models, but yet they sell themselves short. They'd rather be prostitutes. They'd rather sell their souls and their bodies to the devil so that they can please men for money. That is very wrong. What is our purpose in life? And none of us really know. Our purpose in life is, it depends on you. But if you think about it, our purpose in life is not to be prostitutes, not to be used by other men. We are all equal. Men and women. We are all equal and we should have equal rights.
Sorry.
Second, for example, those bar houses near Divisoria, they're actually illegal because they don't do good in this city. There's no point in putting a prostitute house there. In the first place, why would men even go there when they have their own wives? It's the desire for men, it's the lust, the third deadly sin, lust. That's what men really have. And it's actually kind of bad because you're not following God's word. And
Sige. You have 2 points. Number one, it's wrong. Number two, they're selling themselves short and like everything else revolved around that. Question. Why do you, if they're selling themselves short, you're saying that they have the opportunity to be everything. Unfortunately, the world is not that easy. Some women do not have an opportunity to be everything. They do not have an education, nor do they have an opportunity to have one. It's all they have. Prostitution will be all they have. What say you?
I really disagree. Prostitution is not the only thing that they have. Opportunities don't just fall from a tree. Opportunities are the ones that you have to earn. Opportunities like, if you want to become a successful businesswoman, then you have to work for it.
Exactly, that's the point. Opportunities are not something that's given to you. It's something that you earn. Some people, or people below the poverty line, do not have the opportunities because, you see, it has to be earned. But they cannot earn it. They cannot, and because it's not given to them, they have no other choice to feed their families than to simply prostitute themselves.
There are many ways. Prostitution is not the only way. There are many ways to be successful. There are many ways for you to help your family by being not just by being prostitutes. It's wrong. You can sell items. You can work in small sari-sari stores, but the fact that you're using your own body for money, it's wrong. Remember, our bodies are used to the ones that we dedicate our lives to. And I, for one, disagree that we should just use our bodies to men who already have wives.
You keep on going back to it's wrong. From whose point of view? From which point of view? From which are you basing this? From what are you basing this? It is wrong. Because?
In general, it is very wrong.
Yeah, you're saying it's wrong. When you say it's wrong, it's because you are basing yourself from something. You have a foundation. Why do you say it's wrong? It is wrong. It is wrong says who? It is wrong says what?
It is my opinion. It is my opinion to say that it is wrong. I go down the street, I watch people, I watch what they're doing, I watch their activities. I see prostitutes there.
Okay.
And I say to myself that it's wrong. Because why would you sell your bodies? There has to be a better option to earn money other than doing sex.
Sige, it is your opinion, so therefore, anybody can have a different opinion from you. If another person, this is my last question, if the other person has a different opinion from you and tells you prostitution is actually good for the country, it's actually good for sex tourism, it brings in dollars, it creates jobs, it creates communities, it feeds families, it educates children, what say you? That's your last question.
I, for one, if it's their opinion, then I should respect it. But my opinion is my opinion. If people will not agree, then I will not let them agree. I will not force them to say that it's wrong, it's bad, because it's their opinion, and I have my own opinions as well.
And everything else I mentioned about education, about good for business, it's good for the economy, it's tourism. What about all of that?
For foreigners, it may be good for them. But think about our own citizens. Do they feel good? Do they feel good when their bodies are being used? They're doing it, but they're not using their minds. They don't ask themselves, why am I doing this? What's the point? I'm sure there are better options other than using my body for sex. As for education, would you encourage students to do prostitution? That is a very bad example. Prostitution is not good because in religion we're being told that our bodies are used for our husbands and wives. And for tourism, yes, foreigners come here because they want to have sex with our Filipinas, and it's their choice, they go here. But what about the Filipinas? Yes, they do it, pero they need to set their minds straight. They need to think first before they act.
Okay, that would be enough. Thank you very much.
You're good.
I love.
Alright, for the record, please state your name and section in front of the camera.
My name is Vishal M. Janani of 9C.
Okay. Sorry, how do you spell your name?
Vishal.
Vishal. No, sorry, your family name.
Jainana.
Jainani, sorry.
Yes.
Related to Priyanka?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
She's my sister.
Just 90, right?
Yes.
Alright. Please take a question. Alright, for the please state your question out loud in front of the camera.
Should hospitals be banned from using nurse trainees in caring for its patients?
Your timer starts. No one support me. What time is it?
5:46.
Okay. Go.
I believe that hospitals should be banned from using nurse trainees to care for its patients because in one way or another, they could be too unexperienced in this matter. I mean, like, they just got trained or are still being trained right now. So they might not know where all the medicines are. They might give them the wrong medicine. They might not know what kind they have to, like, change the blood packet of sorts, stuff like that. My dad had an experience like this once in a hospital. Like, he was pretty much sick and admitted to the hospital. He asked the nurse what's happening, and the nurse was just like, I don't know what's going on, and just starts like taking blood pressures without even knowing what to do, giving random medicines that seem to do nothing, and my dad just pretty much transferred hospitals because nothing is happening at all. His sickness is still like there. He is like feeling so sick right now. He'd rather just like, I don't know, die or something.
Alright, with due respect to your dad, of course, do you seriously think that a hospital would put a nurse trainee in a life or death situation? I'm sure hospitals have systems in place wherein they put their more experienced nurses in more dire situations and put their nurse trainees in less sensitive situations. What say you?
Well, sir, yes, there may be systems for putting more experience, sir, but then there are times where they still seem to be undertrained. I mean, in my example stated before, according to my dad, he said that she was apparently, the doctors told him that she was apparently experienced enough to handle the situation, but what happened was just not.
But, you know, bad things happen in the hospital, and there are times wherein you just can't defend yourself against certain things, against certain sicknesses. This fun?
Well, sir, yes, easily.
Alright, so yeah, let's go to another train of thought. Nurse trainees are usually trained people from universities, diba? They're still studying. I'm trying to make sure that we have an understanding as to what a nurse trainee is. Alright. If nurse trainees are sent to hospitals, that means the hospital does not need to pay them. If the hospital does not need to pay them, it drives down the cost of medicine, it drives down the cost of having to be treated yourself. Because if the hospital does not need to pay these nurse trainees, then therefore they can charge you for a lower price. Medicine becomes cheaper, and the cost of being hospitalized becomes cheaper. It becomes accessible to more people. What say you?
Yes, sir, but then there may be a possibility, sir, that there will be more chances, sir, of hospital, I guess you can call them fatalities, sir, because let's face it, they still got trained, they're fresh from the university, and they're just pretty much like, go, you're taking care of this patient with cancer. And what happens if that was like one of the first lessons, I guess, of, I don't know, fourth quarter or something in that particular field? They might just panic.
Alright.
And lose control.
Sige, you have a preference for, let's call them professional nurses, and I understand. But you have to remember that professional nurses were also once upon a time nurse trainees who got their professional status from once upon a time being nurse trainees. If you take away nurse trainees, then the next generation of professional nurses will not have any experience whatsoever.
Well, sir, that may be true, sir. But at the same time, wait. What if nurse trainees were instead like sent from like the highest grade instead, sir?
Sorry, what?
Sorry.
Oh.
What if, sir, they sent like the higher grade? Like I may be talking about maybe they sent nurse trainees that were part of the lower, I guess, the grades. But it's sent from the higher grades just to make sure that this will be less. Yes, sir. I know the professional nurses were once nurse trainees, but I'm not necessarily saying that all nurse trainees will be banned. Maybe contradicting myself, sir, but maybe that's just how I roll.
This will be my last question. You are a doctor, you are talking to a patient whose father, no, let's not say father, whose loved one just died. Why did my loved one die? Because there weren't enough nurses, not even nurse trainees. That's your last question. not even nurse trainees. How would you respond to that?
Well, sir, that may happen because of, like, even though they're nurse professionals, no one can do everything, sir. Like, yes, cancer is incurable. That means not everyone will survive it. The loved one may have suffered from cancer or, I don't know, AIDS or something and die. The nurses really can't do anything, even with all this medication and all.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point I was trying to make. Sometimes you just can't do anything. Whether you are a professional nurse or a nurse trainee, doesn't really matter. Oh, that's my last. You respond to it and that will be all. Respond to it. Sorry, again kanang, you were saying nurse trainees, professional nurses will handle it better, nurse trainees are just too inexperienced. Pero just like you said, sometimes it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're a professional nurse or a nurse trainee, you're gonna die anyway. So let's just use nurse trainees. Respond.
So that maybe just because maybe the problem with the nurse sending more inexperienced nurse trainees is because they maybe have a lesser amount of nurses, sir. Like they're in a dire need of nurses. But this is also part, I think, one of the problems of hospitals like nowadays. They can't exactly manage all their facilities altogether. I mean, I've been to a number of hospitals here. The main hospital I go to most often is the Maria Reina Hospital back at Piniquitan. And the one thing I know is that I usually see all these people just scampering around, asking questions from their fellow doctors, nurses. And most of the question that pops up is like, where is this thing? And now that this hospital merged with Xavier, according to my mom, it became better because of the more experienced nurses there, and more nurses there, more professional, equals like better care, better everything. So this is kind of tough.
I think we've had enough now. Thank you very much. Sige, for the camera, please state your name and section.
My name is Barbara Tabayan. I'm from Mexico. Good afternoon, Sir Carla and Paladins.
Alright. Please pick your question. For the camera, please read your question out loud.
Should we prioritize the needs of the people for land, food, and shelter over the protection of the environment?
Your timer starts.
In terms of this question, I say no. It is because environment is our mother. How are we supposed to get land, fertile lands for plants? How are we supposed to get food and shelter if we don't have a better environment? When we have a ruined environment, how are we supposed to plant plants? How are we supposed to produce food? How are we supposed to raise animals in order for poultry and other stuff? And in regards of shelter, well, I might say that if we have a ruined environment, how are we supposed to get raw materials for our buildings? And in terms of this question, I say no because without the environment, how are we supposed to survive? Even if we have land, food, and shelter, what if we have dirty air? How are we supposed to breathe? If we have dirty water, how are we supposed to drink? And if we have unfertile lands, well, we all would expect starvation.
It's kind of funny, I'm listening to you, because you're saying, no, we should not prioritize the use of resources for the poor, for the needy. You're saying it like this, no, you're saying it like this. We should take care of the environment, because without the environment, what are we going to use for farms? What are we going to use for poultry? in that sense, you're using the environment because you're using the environment for farms, you're using the environment for poultry, you're using it for all the good stuff that you mentioned. So in other words, you're saying no, take care of the environment because we need the environment for these things. It doesn't make sense.
But
sige. Try to make your answer clear. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or try to make your answer clearer. What exactly do you want? Say, let's go to that. What exactly do you want?
well, I choose protection for families.
Protection of the environment. If you want protection of the environment, what about everybody who is like really needing the environment right now? People who need survival, people who need needs.
It's just like a give and take relationship. When we take from the environment, then we replace them.
Replace
Like
what?
let's say we cut down so many trees for raw materials. Then we should also replant. If we mine a lot, then we should also control our waste. Then we should also repair what has been damaged.
Langga, the environment is like more complicated, of course, than forest and land. You do understand. What about forest? What about forest environments? There are so many coral reefs, protected coral reefs that we cannot get into and like exploit for tourism purposes because it is protected. That is like that's like divers who are not able to make money because we are protecting the environment. People who are not able to make a livelihood because we are protecting the environment.
Because if I believe that we won't achieve the perfect kind of environment. We cannot perfectly repair it. Although some people would be affected by it, we have to choose it because how are we supposed to live? How are we supposed to continue the next generation if ever the environment is gone?
Exactly. Then how are we going to go to the next generation if this generation starves to them because we have taken care of the environment too much?
We should think of balance.
Talk about the balance then.
Like if what I meant about balance is that we should not get so much because I believe in these days people waste a lot. Food in America, they have billions they have tons of trash, and I believe that those trash can still be very useful. So when I say balance, what if we should just get the right amount for us, not the amount for starvation, and not the kind that we have to be so full of it. We should just get the right and enough amount of needs for ourselves.
Okay, I've had enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Camera is on. Sige, for the record, please state your name and section.
My name is Paul Bayer, and I'm from 9C.
Bayer. Do you spell that Bayer as in the company that produces pharmaceuticals? B-A-Y-E-R, right? 9C. Please state your question. For the please read your question out loud for the camera.
Should we ban the candidacy of people who want to run for senator if they do not have a law degree?
Your timer starts. Start.
Okay. I don't agree that we should ban the candidacy of people who want to run for senator if they do not have a law degree. The reason for this is because everyone has their different ideals. People want to support everyone else. People have different ideas for what they will do when they are a senator. When they are a senator, some people might go and be conservatives, or they might be Republicans. Either way, during their run, they will have different ideas they will have different people who will support these different senators. If they do not have a law degree, it doesn't matter because everyone is different, sir. If you are let's say, a doctor and you wanted to run for senator, people might support that because you would know good health plans, or you might know how to treat them differently than if you were to say a police officer. And though not everyone will make it as a senator, people will always choose differently.
All right, I understand your central point. We should not ban people who do not have a law degree from running for senator, so that we will have a whole different variety of senators, and that they will have their own agenda. That's well and good. Pero it's as if you are assuming that all lawyers are essentially the same. There are lawyers who like health. There are lawyers who like crime. They don't have to be policemen to be concerned with crime. So if there are many different kinds of lawyers, then if you put all lawyers if you have a Senate with only lawyers, they are still going to be different kinds of senators. It's fun.
Yes, sir. Because with the variety, you will have them believing in different things. Some people will act differently. Like, say, instead of this, for a person that was Christian and let's say a person that was atheist, an atheist person would just go by law and would probably hang other people for their crimes of killing other ones.
Yes, exactly. But I was asked, you said we should remove the ban, diba? You were saying that to be a senator, you don't have to be a lawyer, so that we will have variety. But even if everybody in the Senate is a lawyer, there will still be variety. So therefore, let's just require them to be lawyers, because there's going to be variety anyway.
Sir, not everyone can always get a law degree. It's not like saying, I'm going to pay $5 for ice cream and then, bam, I get a reward, it's the law degree. Instead, it's more of, not everyone is as smart as everyone else, but everyone has different levels of imagination, and usually that can overpower the smartness and your weakness in being,
So you are saying, to be a senator, you don't have to be smart. You can be stupid for as long as you have a good imagination. It's fun.
No, sir, like, you have to have at least common sense to know that if you're really retard, you can't just run for senator, because people just will go, do I want a retard when they have, let's say, a police officer or a doctor or anyone else, sir?
But if a person has a lawyer, if a person is a lawyer, has a law degree, we can at least be sure that guy has common sense and is not a retard. And yeah, because he's a lawyer.
Yes, sir, and no, sir. Because
Yes and no, because
if you're a lawyer, of course you're going to have common sense, but only common sense to a point of which your job lets you be. With a different job, you'll have a different type of common sense. Like for doctors, it's not make the incision, well, it is make the incision and then look around for a while for the broken bone, while the lawyer will be look for what their problem is and then exploit it and try to, make them wrong.
Alright, this will be my last question. Like, the Senate right now is full of people who don't seem to have common sense. People who seem to be after their own agenda. And we have voted, unfortunately, people who know nothing about the law. Would it be good for the country, for any country for that matter, to make sure that people who do make the laws at least know about the laws?
Again, yes and no. For people who would know about the laws, they would be able to, have common sense to follow them. Then you would have those other people who would be imagining things, and these imaginations could be the loopholes. And these specific loopholes would be able to, you can exploit them with the other people. People with imagination will be able to think differently, and people will then have more thoughts, more or less alike.
Okay, I got enough. Thank you very much.
Well, with Good job.
Good job with your scary notebook.
Langga, do we have one more? Just one more?
Sana lang, sir.
Are you there?
Last break zone.
Sana siya, uy.
So what's the normal beat per minute? 70? Having 110.
I believe in you.
Get back. Paladins, get back. For the camera, please state, for the record, please state your name and section.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Sean Benedict Monitor from 9C.
Please take your question. Sige. For the camera, please read your question out loud.
Should we allow strong countries like the USA to act as an international police force?
Your timer starts. Shan, sorry, you can't sit down. You can't sit. Start.
Should we allow strong countries like USA to act as an international police force? Yes, of course, we must allow strong countries like the USA to act as an international police force because we must admit that we are weak. Our country is weak due to the government that isn't that strong enough to create soldiers and military guards to guard our country, like what we are doing right now in our territory disputes with China. Take that for as an example. If we do not allow USA to be part of our country, we might lose our territory from China, which is stronger than us Philippines, because Philippines believe that everything should be done in a peaceful way, like diplomatic treaties and things like that, because it has been a culture of the Philippines to do treaties, diplomacies with other countries in order to attain peace and order.
Alright. Let's assume, for the record, I will agree with you. Let's not quarrel on that point that the Philippines is weak, we need protection. But the question will be, if you have another country acting as an international police-keeping force, how do we know exactly that the countries, let's say the G9, for example, the G9, the 9 strongest countries in the world, the G9, how do we know that they are acting for the interest of humanity and not acting for the interest of their own country?
Sir, we would know that they are acting for the interest of humanity because they have everything will have a written proof, like a history, like they will sign for this thing, like protect Philippines and all that thing, because everyone agreed. The president of the Philippines agreed, and those G9 countries agreed that they will protect Philippines.
Alright, but who cares about signing things? If they do sign, we will protect Philippines. And yes, they do end up protecting Philippines, conquering us in the process, regardless of the signature. What can we do? We are a weak country.
Sir, what we can do is to stick with the plan or the thing that would be signed, because sir, as I said, everything will have a written proof which will serve as an evidence that everyone agreed. Now, if this agreement has this thing like we should not touch any of your resources, but if we will want to touch these resources, we should ask you and we shall have a minimum amount of these resources before we can take it. And if this maximum amount, what do you call this? Exceeds, they shall like return some of it.
But the point I'm trying to make is if we have a written agreement, alright, small little Philippines versus big old US, if we have an agreement, if we stick to the terms of the agreement, well and good. What if they don't? And if they don't stick to the terms of the agreement, what can we do about it? We're a small country. We can't fight back.
But sir, what is the point of not agreeing to the statement? If both parties made those agreements, what is the reason that they would not agree to it?
To lie, to take advantage of us, to have us agree now and then to pretend like they're agreeing now and then steal from us later. That may be the point.
But sir, if you would not agree to those statements, it's just like lying to yourself. And lying to yourself would be like you're hurting yourself. And not only yourself, but other people.
Yeah, and they don't care about lying to themselves. They don't care about hurting us. All they want is, yay, we have new land. That's what they care about.
But sir, if we will have an agreement with them, their land will also be a part of ours, which means we can go to their land. Like what's happening to us right now. We have 3 different islands, right? Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. We have the freedom to go in and out of these 3 islands. Now, if we have this agreement with the US or other countries to have an international police interaction with them, it is like a package deal that we will have the freedom to go in and out of their country, which would be like, which would also be mutual to Filipinos that they have a new land.
All right, last question for tonight, I think. Last question for tonight. They could betray us actually. They could betray us in the sense na they would promise to come to our aid, and then when China comes and attacks us, they leave us high and dry. So therefore, we should not have an international police keeping force because they could betray us anytime.
Sir,
respond. You will have the last say.
If they could betray us, they're not the only ones who has the ability to betray, but also us. If they try to betray us, we can have our opportunity to also betray them. Now think of it, like if there's this resources from the US, they will like leave it in the Philippines. And also after leaving it, we will have those resources like guns, ammos, and their weapons. Now if they betray us, we have the right to use these resources and backstab them. So that's the reason why they should agree to terms, and we should also, that's also the reason why we should allow the US to have a police interaction with the Philippines. Thank you.
Okay, that will be okay.
I'm proud of my street! Students, Grade 4. I'm proud of you guys.
Sir, can they come in?
My students are great!
Sir, thank you, sir.
So, pwede na mag-exam mo buwan last year.
Paladins, your attention, please.
Okay.
Yeah. You can go, wait lang. Something that was not clarified. Hi, are you